is Sydney from Syddin Pretty Hair, reinforcing the fundamentals of hair care. If you're new here, my name is Sydney. I'm a hair restoration specialist, and what that means is I teach women with textured hair how to heal and restore their hair using refined protective styling and heat styling methods. Okay, so I'm a hairstylist who specifically specializes in helping women with damaged hair nurse their hair back to health via protective styling and heat styling. If that sounds like something you're interested in, then please go ahead and consider subscribing. I also want you to click the link in the description box and get your hands on the free version of my 5 keys for success in your healthy hair journey guide. Why? Because I noticed that a lot of people feel as though there's a product missing. A lot of people feel as though there's a stylist missing and keeping them from meeting their hair goals. And when you get down to the bottom of the most bottomest bottom, you will often find it comes down to limiting beliefs, misconceptions, generational misinformation that has been passed along that is really the culprit of keeping you from being able to build a solid foundation in your hair journey. So in that guide, I go into somewhat detail of how you can reprogram your mind and reshape and reframe the way that you think about hair. So make sure you go ahead and click that link and get your hands on that. Now, I'm going to just be stopping by today for a quick video, and as you have probably already inferred by the title, we are going to be speaking about what the difference is between a silk press and a press and curl, wash and flat iron, wash and blow dry, etc. Okay? Now, what inspired this question is because, number one, in my salon, I have been membership based. I was membership based for quite some time, back in the 2018, 2019, and we're seeing a lot more membership salons popping up and people having packages and stuff, but that was my business model for a long time. And so when on my page where my clients would enroll into one of my silk press memberships, I gave the breakdown between what exactly a silk press is versus a press and curl, whatever, because I noticed that a lot of people were confused about it. So that was the first time I realized, like, okay, people aren't necessarily clear about it. But I was in a Facebook group and I noticed a lady put up a post, okay, and her post said this. She says, "I'm about to ask a really dumb question, but I've seen different things, so I'm curious. What's the difference between straightening your hair and silk pressing? For an example, I've always blow dried my hair and flat ironed it to straighten it, but sometimes I see people calling it a silk press. Is there a difference? Have I been silk pressing my hair all this time?" I even remember at the hair salons I've gone to, they would offer a blow dry flat iron combo or a silk press, insinuating that they are different. I'm curious because the silk press leaves it looking nicer. I'll start asking for that or just learn how to do it. Because if the silk press leaves it looking nicer, I'll start asking for that and learn how to do it. Excuse me. One of the ladies says she thinks it's a catch for a higher priced salon visit. Everybody was in the comments like, yes, it's a gimmick, it's a gimmick, it's a gimmick. And I commented, I said, I'm not sure why so many, I put texture hair clients because this happens in our salons, why so many clients with texture hair feel like stylists are always conspiring on how to get them to spend more money. And someone said it's what business people do, not necessarily a bad thing, it's just business strategy, It's not unusual for business in a capitalist society to try and make more money with products and gimmicks. So I wanted to bring this up because there's absolutely a difference between silk pressing the hair and the traditional press and curl or the traditional blow dry and flat iron. And you know it as well as I know it, because the way people getting their hair straightened these days, it looks completely different than how we was getting our hair pressed back in the day. Unless you was like me and went to the Dominican salon, let's be real about it. So I did look up a few videos on this. There weren't many available, and the ones I did see, I don't necessarily agree with the information that was put out. It's not to say it was wrong, I just don't think it really covers what a silk press is. So according to the Syddin Pretty technique, I cannot speak for everybody, The main difference between the silk pressing technique and techniques such as the press and curl or just the old school wash and flat iron, it really comes down to products and it comes down to technique. Okay, there is a big difference, and this is the reason for those of you all who make YouTube videos flat ironing your hair, or you watch people get their hair flat ironed, or you see how your results come out, you will notice there is often a difference between the results you get from the silk press, when there is somebody who knows what they're doing rendering that service, and the results you get. And it really comes down to product and technique. I go more into depth about this in my new ebook, Choosing the Right Products. I would highly recommend that y'all get your hands on that if you want to become more informed on the depths of hair products, how you incorporate them into your regimen, which products you need, why we need products, etc., etc., etc. When you examine the differences in the silk press versus the other techniques, silk presses focus more on conditioning the hair, you know, and I'm gonna read to you all the direct copy from my how I broke it down for my clients years ago. And if you hear somebody copying this, they got it from me. If you hear word for word, this is literally from my website. Okay, so what exactly is a silk press? A silk press is a modern day press and curl, only a less greasy, stiff version. And I put just kidding, no, but seriously. The former method usually consisted of using a petroleum based grease, or even lotions in some cases, and a pressing comb to get the hair straight. Modern day methods usually consist of a light oil such as argan oil, which is composed mostly of vitamin E and fatty acids to smooth and condition the hair. The hair is straightened out using a ceramic or nano titanium iron, leaving the hair smooth, soft, and silky. Your results are identical to a Dominican blowout. With this technique, you can enjoy the luxury of hair that appears to be relaxed for a few weeks, and then watch your curls bounce back as soon as they hit the water. So essentially, I would say the differences between the other techniques and the silk press technique are as follows. My camera is dying. Let me not dying, but let me switch on my memory card. So some of the key differences are the tools you're using, the products you're using, as well as the technique. For many women or many hairstylists who are performing silk presses, the goal for sure is to keep the versatility in the hair in terms of not necessarily compromising the curl pattern, okay? So for many, that is a priority when silk pressing, is making sure to protect the curl pattern. Number one. Number two, you're using different products that aid in a lighter, flowier, more desirable look. Back in the day with the press and curls and stuff, you notice they relied heavily on the product to keep the hair straight, which is why it was heavier, it was stiffer. These days with the silk pressing technique, you are mainly relying on, of course, the preparation, but also the stretching technique through your blow drying, and also, yes, your flat iron, because that was another thing I noticed in the comments. People were saying, well, maybe it's the temperature of the iron. I noticed another hairstylist say that, and I would disagree, only because the press and curl and other techniques also used higher heat, but the result was still different. So yes, you still use a higher level of heat, but that is, I would say, consistent within both techniques, if that makes sense. On the technical side, it really comes down to the preparation process as well as the blow dry. On the product side, it comes down to, instead of using more hold based products, greases, lotions, you are using lighter products that allow the hair to be conditioned and more movable, soft, etc. So I noticed it's probably not super clear because you need to look at it. You know, definitely go back to my other videos where I showcase the silk press technique and think about what I'm telling you as you watch it, so that way you can kind of put two and two together. But I said that to say, y'all, silk presses are not a scam. No one is trying to get over on you, and they are completely different than the other techniques from before. Yes, there are definitely similarities, but if you pay attention to the end result, it's very obvious that the silk press technique is a modernized version of old school straightening technique. So it's not a scam, y'all. I just want to make that clear. Now, the next point I will address, and I'll address this because in a time where I was promoting heat styling, I had a lot of certain influencers and things giving backlash on whether or not relaxed hair should be number one, if you should be applying direct heat to relaxed hair, and number two, if relaxed hair needs to be silk pressed. Now understand, when it comes to relaxed hair has already bypassed the stretching process. It's already stretched. The difference is if you, and of course this depends on how relaxed your hair is, because for someone like me that still has texture in their relaxer, you still need to incorporate some stretching. Silk press to a relaxed hair essentially comes down to the finish. Okay, so for those of you all who have purchased from Azara Cosmetics, right, when I am choosing the design for my labels, there are different finishes for these labels. The last finish I chose was horrible. Okay, it wasn't oil proof, so the oil ended up bleeding through. The previous finish I had chosen, and the one I will stick to, is oil resistant. So while the design is the same, the color is the same, etc., there is a different finish. And although it may be a subtle difference, it's still a difference. If you look back how your relaxed hair used to look back in the day, stringier, heavier, more weighed down, it comes down to the difference in the technique in the product. Does that make sense? So no, when you are doing a silk press or flat ironing relaxed hair, you don't have to approach it with the same need to get it straight. But you can still apply that same concept when it comes to the finish of the hair. That's really the difference with the silk pressing technique. I would say it comes down to how the hair is finished in terms of what does it look like. And it also comes down to the process and what you are using to achieve the finish. In the old school, it came down to using a lot of heavy products and things that weighed the hair down to keep it straight, as well as high heat. Nobody cared about the curl pattern, nobody cared about the health, nobody cared about the moisture, any of that. It was just by any means necessarily straighten his hair, whether it look good or don't. The silk press technique is more of, like I tell y'all, texture hair likes to be seduced. It's more of a seduction. You're serenading the hair into holding a new form or being in a new form, and you're using different products and a different technique to achieve it. So there is a difference in the technique. Yes, the price is going to be different because it's an innovation, y'all. No one is trying to scam you all. Okay? There are stylists who are probably scamming, but the point I'm making is, I want to eliminate this stigma around, oh my gosh, they're trying to get the money. Of course we want to get paid, but no, this particular technique and this phenomenon, this is not a gimmick. It's an innovation, and it is different, although it's not completely different. It's not like there's some kind of new chemical or something, but it is a innovation on an older technique. So I hope this was clear, y'all. I'm not trying to be pretentious or condescending, but I will be quick to, just kind of clear some things up, and I just want to let y'all know it's not a scam, okay? So definitely click the link in the description box. You can enroll in the Syddin Pretty Academy to check out my silk press class and technique. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like it and subscribe, and let me know if this clarified things. And I will talk to you all in the next video. Thank you for watching. Have you set your hair goals for the new year but can't access or afford salon services? No problem. I've got you covered. In honor of the new year, I have bundled up all of my life-changing digital resources to help you rewrite your hair story. Starting today, through the month of January, you can get my best-selling hair growth challenge, Growentine, my new ebook, Choosing the Right Products, and the full version of the 5 Keys Guide for a fraction of the normal price. Now is your time to learn all of my best techniques for hair care to save you time and money. The days of sifting through hours of confusing content or endlessly spending on product are over. You can use Klarna at checkout to get the bundle for just 4 interest-free payments. Buy more and save more when you get the bundle. This month only. Link is in the description box.